guys, welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place for everything related to Amazon FBA private label and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, your host, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring in our special guest. His name is Nick Uresin, and he's one of my closest friends in the Amazon space. He's actually one of the founders of an amazing company, actually, Argometrics, which is one of the top software solutions in the Amazon space, which I'm sure Nick is gonna talk us a little bit about that today. And also, we have a very interesting topic. Actually, Nick today is gonna basically talk about the philosophy, or what is actually having what we call victory in the Amazon space. What is having a healthy brand? What is actually that, you know, that actually end goal that we all sellers want to have, that we can say, you know what, I'm actually killing it and winning on Amazon. So Nick is going to be talking about that, which I find sometimes we don't talk a lot about that on this topic. We always talk about strategies and things like that, but we don't really talk about what is like that thing that we as sellers need to achieve to actually succeed in the Amazon space. So Nick, it's a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. How you doing, my friend?
Thank you, Vincenzo. It's great to be with you. You know, our conversations are never dull, right? So we always we always manage to laugh and also share a lot of knowledge.
I know. It's actually we've been doing a lot of things together. We did actually two amazing episodes on your podcast, which was an amazing experience, and thank you for the opportunity. I think we talk about the search query performance report and tailored promotions, which both very relatively new things in the Amazon space. So I think people found a lot of value out of that. But then at the same time, after speaking to you so many times now, I found that you have so much value to bring to the Amazon community. And that's why I wanted to, also have you on my podcast, because I'm sure today's a topic which we already gave me a briefing before going live is going to provide a ton of, insights and point of views that not a lot of people consider when it comes to when they're basically selling on Amazon. However, before we jump into that, and I do this with all the people I bring on the podcast, I want to learn more about who is Nick, right? How you got started as an entrepreneur? What made you basically become the founder and CEO of Argometrics? And basically, how from there you're basically now one of the top stars in the space. Yeah.
I don't know about top stars. By the my head is already touching the borders of the window. By the time we finish this, it's gonna explode. It's getting
I know.
bigger with these compliments. No, I mean I always tell my team, I'm a worker. You have to do the work. You have to know what you're doing. You have to have a vision, but at the end of the day, you have to get down and lead by example, if you want to put it in handsome words. But yeah, I'm a worker. What made me the founder of Argometrics? Well, in order to answer that, you have to say what made me the founder of the company before and the company before. So we are the breed that everybody calls unemployable. We cannot work anywhere. We don't like to follow instructions. We always have something we dream about. So that's really what pushed me and in the direction of entrepreneurship. And I've had several businesses before, nothing to do with technology, even though I have computer science. Technology was always in the center of every business I built in some unique fashion. But I got into the technology at the start of the internet boom in 1996.
Awesome.
And my brother came up with the idea to launch something. And I said, okay, if you build a prototype, I'll run with it and see what we can do. And now I'm here. So, so in 1997, when people were afraid to put their credit cards on the web, I decided to get into e-commerce.
Okay.
So then we built an online store platform, which is today's Shopify, which became ultimately number one in the country. And then that led me to, as we evolved our platform, I decided to be my own customer to
Yeah.
eat my own dog food, so to speak. And that put me on Amazon as a seller. So
Yeah.
I was a seller for almost 10 years, and just playing, just
Yeah.
playing, trying to figure out the marketplace, the rules, which
Yeah.
are, as you know, always changing. And but I was really in search of finding a way to evolve my platform,
Yeah.
which then came after about 5 years of experimenting.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we go from 60 orders a day to 2,000 orders a day in three
Wow.
years with my platform. And I thought, that's it. Now I know how
I'm
to do
killing
things.
it.
And I have the platform, the tool to do it with, and I'm going to offer it to other Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
And that's where Argometrics came from. And
Awesome.
now I have a podcast called Amazon Legends, which is where you and I
Yeah.
had great
Super
conversations.
recommended, which I'm gonna make sure to put the links and everything in the description for everybody to check. But
Yeah,
yes, go on.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
very, for me, it's very humbling, Vincenzo, because what happens is people, single mothers, newly married,
Yeah.
people with kids who don't want to go get a job and then leave their baby behind, who
Hmm.
want to start something. They are not technology people. They are not business people.
Yeah.
They just have an idea, a vision, and they want to make a living out of it while maintaining the kind of lifestyle that they want. And
Yeah.
they need help. And we share a lot of knowledge. And you
Hmm.
did a great job,
Thank you.
sharing some of the new things that they could leverage. So what we always do is, I always say this, by the time you finish listening to this episode, you're going to be able to go to your computer and take action with what you just heard.
Yeah.
and
Super
and
important.
hopefully it will benefit you. So that's my goal, and we always cover something.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, what a journey, and what I love about your journey is that is similar to mine in the sense that you also come from a technical background. Like you do computer science, you did computer science, I did engineering, and we basically found our way into entrepreneurship. And let's be honest, that's not very common. Usually, our self stays on that bracket of the academia. But the fact that we broke up of that, uh, yeah, bubble basically of either computer science or engineering, and now we did our own thing. That's amazing, and the fact that you have this such an amazing things is great. Now, let's jump into. I think before we jump in the topic, because I also want to give a bit of context. Tell us a little bit about your company, Argometrics, just high level. What is the company about? And then, of course, I want to start bringing to the table the topic about what is basically the good philosophy that people should have in terms of what is winning on Amazon. So, just give me a brief intro about the company so people can know, and then, of course, let's jump into the topic. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So Argometrics is a company for and designed for Amazon sellers
Mm-hmm.
uh, with private label products, and we have a SaaS platform that uh, helps sellers by prioritizing where to focus their time, energy, and money to maximize their growth. Because, as you know, everything is always changing with Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether it's your conversion rate or click-through rate, your impression share, your average order value,
Yeah.
something is always going up and down. But what is the most important thing? What should you be working on today? Or
Mm-hmm.
what is going in the right direction? What is going in the wrong direction? That is what our platform does. And also, I work with some sellers on one-on-one basis to help them build their operation. And my involvement usually goes beyond just Amazon. It includes systems and automation and things like that. So
Okay.
that's pretty much the activity of Argometrics.
Love it. Love it. So I guess that's actually what bring us to the topic, and that's why you have so much experience with what we're gonna be talking about. which is basically over time, I'm sure you have found what is actually the right definition of having a healthy brand on Amazon, because I'm sure you see so many numbers, so many metrics, and over time you have identified what actually makes a brand worthy of be called healthy in the Amazon ecosystem. So maybe tell us a little bit about what is your take on this, and of course, as we go along, I'm sure I'm gonna have some interesting questions about
Sure,
that.
sure. Well, whenever I start talking to people about selling on Amazon, and if they are sellers already, the most popular topic is advertising, how successful their advertising is. What is their, um, of course, A costs, take costs, and all that stuff. And what is the click-through rates? What is how much you're paying per click, and what kind of conversions are you getting? Conversion is big deal. And how many keywords are you ranked for? These are all things that get people excited. And
Yeah.
and frankly, there's a lot of people out there. For me, they don't matter. So I always say this: the success of an Amazon operation, to me, is measured by how healthy it is. So, does health mean success? Well, if you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how successful you are, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You
You're
can
not
have
going to survive.
all the money. You can have all the money and everything, but if you're gonna die tomorrow, what's the point? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the old movies, the National Lampoon's Vacations with Chevy Chase.
Mm-hmm.
There is a scene, they are in Vegas, and the whole family is in Vegas, and the kids want to go gamble, and then he
Yeah.
goes gambling. And have you seen that one?
Yeah. I think I recall the one you're mentioning, the Vegas scene and all of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the end of the day, and they all
Mm-hmm.
lost their money, and then they are in this big hall, and there is this bingo drawing,
Yeah.
and then there's
Mm-hmm.
this old man sitting right in the front
Yeah.
with this ticket in his hand, and but he's so old, he dies. But as he dies, his number comes up.
Exactly. I remember. Yeah.
And then he wakes up and says, I won, I won, I won. And then he dies. He's gone. So that's what I mean. So success, what is the health? So this is the way I measure health. Health to me in business, I'm sure I'm not unique, is cash. If your
Yeah.
business runs out of cash, you're done. So you have to have cash. So where does the cash come from? This is not specific to Amazon, but especially on Amazon is more important because you carry inventory at FBA and also at 3PL, and also you have production running at the same time. So I say this: what is the net profit you make at the end of the month? Net profit is measured by take the sales minus the refunds minus the merchandise cost for those sales minus Amazon commission minus FBA fees minus advertising cost
Minus everything.
minus other bits and pieces, storage and
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
Okay, so between you and I, let's say that we sold one item and you handled the whole operation perfectly, and you netted $15 out of that $100 sale. Perfect advertising, you got very good, and as you would agree, I'm sure $15 net profit out of $100 sale on Amazon
That's
after
good.
everything. It's pretty healthy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for that $100 sale, let's assume you pay $25 to buy the merchandise. Okay. At the beginning of the month, how much inventory did you have in stock? In order to sell that one piece, you had to have that one piece in stock in the first place. In order
Yes.
to keep the sales going, you had to have at least the next month's piece, right? So that's now $50. Now, I don't think that anybody runs on just 1 month cycles. So usually
No,
you order for 4 months, right?
exactly.
So you had $100. So here we are, Vincenzo. To generate $15, you had to have $100 invested. 15 divided by 100, that is your health.
Yeah.
What you know what that means? That means it's going to be month 7 before you see a penny from your operation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I ask you, if you start a business, actually, let's flip it. If
Hmm.
you take a job somewhere
Yeah.
and they say to you, you know what, you're going to come to work every day, you're going to work every day for 6 months without a penny, would you take that job?
Yeah. Most people wouldn't. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what you're doing. In this fairly healthy operation. So, what I say to people is, how healthy is this ratio? I call this return on inventory, the different
Hmm.
ROI.
Yeah.
So, what is your return on inventory? Is it 15%? No. So, this scenario we just painted, 15% net and $100 inventory value, is perfectly reasonable. Most people have this. So now, if this means it's going to be month 7 before you see a penny, you're going to have to pay for that $100 worth of inventory to your supplier
Yeah.
in month probably 2 or 3, partially upfront anyway. So I say to people, how well are you set up to fund your operation? And if people cannot answer this question clearly, you know the kind of complaints you hear from them? They
What?
say things like, I don't understand. Our sales are growing every day and our
But I have
numbers
no
look
money.
right, but we never have any money in the bank.
That's something people tell me all the time. Like, yeah, I am making X amount, business healthy, all the numbers are in green, but I don't get the paycheck. So it's like, what is
that's
happening?
that's because they don't have return on inventory calculation. Now, let me tell you the dangers here. First of all, that 100 pieces that they had in stock at the beginning, that's 4 pieces, right?
Yeah.
One breaks.
Hmm.
Now you've gone up to 8 months.
You
And
get a refund.
God forbid, the market turns, sales slow down, the inventory becomes stale. You launch another product. Now the new product has to be funded. Nothing is in isolation like I'm describing. There's so many things, different variations, blah, blah. So this calls for strict inventory management. It means systems,
Yeah.
proper accounting of your settlement reports, at least every other week. You know exactly what you netted and then are able to compare it to your inventory. That means tracking your inventory at Amazon and
Hmm.
3PL accurately, so you know that value of the total inventory. Unfortunately, these are not sexy subjects people don't like to talk about, but this is all about the health of your operation. And
Yeah.
this happens to be the things that I try to advocate for people. I mean, I'm not saying go spend thousands of dollars. These
Of
days, you
course.
can easily set up a system, but for God's sake, make this a priority. Will you set up systems, know your numbers, because this determines how much blood is running through your veins. And
Yeah.
you have no blood, you're dead.
Yeah. In fact, something I think, I mean, I'm sure people's finding this super interesting, but I guess now they're trying to think or asking themselves, okay, this makes sense. But what steps or actions I can take to basically avoid this from to happening from for me? So I guess my question to you is, based on this conversation, I'm assuming that the assumption that people can take from this, that maybe the advice is like you first need to build a 6 to 12 months cushion of cash flow before you can realistically take in consideration all the other areas of your business, are right, conversion, PPC, and all of that. You need to build a 6 to 12 months cushion in terms of having that war chest in terms of cash to make sure that you don't run into this issue. I guess that's one of the solutions you would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is when you are starting something, you need money. So you say, okay, how much time am I
Mm-hmm.
gonna need
Exactly.
money for, and blah blah. So the worst thing you can do is actually have the money and spend it on the wrong things, because that means you have received no value for it, and you're not in fact putting up. It's like building up a house uh,
You get backwards. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
made of mud, and as soon as it rains the whole thing will melt. So that's how it is. So you need to do the right thing. So the actions that I say is, no, even if it's with Excel, which I don't recommend, but even if it's with Excel,
It's better
uh,
than nothing.
always stay on top of your inventory. And this is the silliest answer I hear from people. If you want to know how much inventory you have, say, well, we go count it in the warehouse. That is never an answer, because while you are counting, sales are taking place. So right, so this has to be real time. And the easiest thing people can do is sign up for an accounting system like Zero or QuickBooks Online,
Mhm.
and sign up for a third party system like A2X,
Yeah.
and then link up everything and turn on inventory management. It's not the best, but at least it will give you an idea. And that
Mhm.
way you will be able to see these numbers every other week. Your as settlement report comes out, your accounting will sync up, A2X will update, and A2X will also show you your inventory level, and you can easily take account of that and see what your numbers are. That's the
Mhm.
easiest thing they can do.
Okay. And this one, I guess, when it comes to recommendation as well, to calculate this ratio, just to also clarify that part, do you have a specific ratio or number that you would recommend for people when basically preparing the strategy towards selling on Amazon? Like, this is the amount of ratio you should have between inventory and basically, yeah, inventory to profit, basically. Is there a ratio you recommend, inventory to sales and all of that?
Well, what I have is, when I work with my clients, I have something called the unit economics template. And
Mm-hmm.
when you plug in your numbers into the template, it's going to give you in different red, green, yellow, where you are. So of course you want to hit green on all the
Mm-hmm.
expense buckets. So the first bucket is your cost of goods sold. And so that's the landed cost of your product. So when you are
Yeah.
making up your pricing, uh, by the way, this is the first thing you have to do when you want to sell anything, especially on Amazon. So your cost of goods sold cannot be more than 30% of
Okay.
your price. So that's the first one.
Yeah.
The second one is your FBA fee, which I would like it to be ideally about 12%, and no
Mm-hmm.
more than 15%. So now we are up to 45, and 15% you pay Amazon. So now we are up to 60.
Mm-hmm.
I usually allow about 5% for other bits and pieces, including storage. So
Mm-hmm.
now we are up to 55.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is before advertising.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of recommendations that I like to live within.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say to them, look, when we launch in the first month, for every dollar spent
Mm-hmm.
in ads, you're gonna expect $1 in sales.
Okay.
Month two, for every dollar spent, expect $2 in sales.
Okay. So it's incremental. Okay.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so basically, the first 3 months, you throw everything up at the board and see what sticks. and you create your projections accordingly. And after that, it's all down to how successfully you're managing your PPC campaign with the intention to achieve 15% takeoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So with 15% takeoffs, if you have, we added, all the expenses, and we were down to 40% net. And when you have 15% takeoffs, comes off of that, so 25 net plus the 5% storage, that gives you 20% net margin, which is a great number. A
Yeah.
great number. So any company that generates 20% net liquidity on their Amazon operation is considered successful. Is it
Yeah.
healthy? That comes down to
Yeah. What we've been talking.
how well they are managing their purchasing and inventory management. Because with tight inventory management, if sales start to slow down, you're going to modulate your purchasing, right? So that modulation is going to
Yeah.
release some of the pressure you're going to put on your cash flow by over ordering. So,
Exactly.
so those are the kinds of things that I recommend.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Nick. So, I mean, this episode is being, wow, mind blowing. I mean, all these things, I'm surprised. Like, I've been going to so many events in the Amazon space, and nobody really talks about this. And the reality is, this is a big issue most sellers experience. Like, I'm sure you have this conversation every day, and it goes back to the joke we're making. People say, yeah, my business is growing, everything is green, my tacos is going lowering, but I don't have money in the bank. And it goes down because they don't take in consideration how long it takes for them to, pay back that inventory. And then once that pay back the inventory, if there is some money left. So super important. I think before we start concluding, do you want to bring any other tips when it comes to keeping a brand healthy in the Amazon, from the Amazon perspective, that you have also seen that maybe people is missing out?
Um, well, what people are missing out is, and as a big picture, we hear the words thrown around quite a bit in business community. Obviously, these big corporations know how to do it, but small businesses still don't. And it's the data driven decision making. So we still don't use that. Instead, we are very much task oriented. Which keywords are selling? Which how much are we bidding, and what is our conversion? Blah blah. But what you need is some indicators that tell you that the overall business is going in the right direction or wrong direction. And in addition, a business that is going in the right direction is starting to go south. How do you pick up those? And being able to have those metrics prioritized in such a manner, so in every corner of your business, whether it's your conversions, your overall click-throughs, your overall impression shares, so some kind of an indicator that tells you whether that metric is going in the right direction or wrong direction, or while it's in its direction, is it starting to turn around, or getting better, or getting worse? So that's the kind of mentality that I advocate for people. Then it becomes data-driven decision making, because you're looking at things, and the numbers don't lie, and numbers are telling you this is what's going on. And based on that, you then say, okay, what is the cause for this? But these days, what we seem to be doing in this, especially Amazon world, is we start from these individual little tactical things. How are we doing with this
Mm-hmm.
keyword? How are we doing with that keyword? What are we bidding here? These things, it's like winning the battle, losing the war.
Exactly. That's actually the perfect phrase. Like, you're winning these small battles, but the overall war you're losing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so having that overall approach is what I advocate for, and that's what I try and provide in my platform. So, but everything takes time, so people learn eventually.
Awesome. Very good. So yeah, I mean, Nick, I just have to thank you for your time for being here today. I know people's gonna now go back, take some notes, start calculating those numbers, like trying to figure out actually when they're gonna start making some money. So I think this is, I mean, you provide so many insights that even myself I haven't heard in a long time. So thank you for that. I think to start concluding, it would be great if you can just tell us a little bit about how people can get involved more with you and also with your company, Algometrics, because I'm sure maybe you can provide some insights when it comes to all these metrics that you're mentioning throughout your software, your platform. So can you tell us how people can get involved and take action? Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Well, the easiest way to find me is argometrics.com. That's X with an X in the end, argometrics.com. And just go to the website and send an email through the contact form. I see every one of those. And I'm happy to help anybody. I like to make an impact. That what gets me excited. So
Yeah.
any questions or anything, I'm always happy to answer. And also tune into the podcast Amazon Legends, and this is what we talk about all the time.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure. Looking forward to have you again in the future on the podcast. Always a pleasure to, share time with you and pick a little bit from your brain. Thank you so much.
Sure. Pleasure is mine, Vincenzo. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Have a nice one. Bye bye.
Bye.